from the earth. A natural resource is anything that is obtained from the earth for us to use. So when it says, that's number one, it's your first question. I just answered it for you. The first question says, what is a natural resource? It's anything that is obtained from the earth. What does obtained mean? Megan?
Brought from the earth?
Gotten. Anything you get. If you ask me for a worksheet and I give it, or an extra pencil, you need an extra pencil. Hey, Mrs. Sellers, can I have an extra pencil? And I'm like, here. You obtained a pencil for me. You got one from me. Okay? Yes.
How do you spell obtained?
O-B. Let me write it on the board over here for you. Obtained. Okay? Anything that is obtained from the earth. Do you have a question, Ella?
Would you capitalize the E in earth? Or
You would. Yes. Capitalize the E in earth. I won't be checking for those little tiny things, but anything that is obtained from the earth. And if you want to be a superstar and put it, you can put for us to use. But really, you wouldn't bother to get it out of the earth unless you were going to use it for something, right? So that's kind of... Okay. So what's our next question, Sarah Grace?
what is a renewable energy source?
A renewable energy resource. Okay. Well, let's back up for a second. There are three types, and I told you this yesterday when we talked about this for a second. There are three types of renewable resources, right? Some people say two, but I really like to break it up into three because I think there's a difference. What is one of them? Claire.
Unrenewable.
Another prefix. Non-renewable.
Oh.
Non-renewable, but close. So, the first, well, one that we're going to talk about is non-renewable. Okay, these are all resources, but one we'll talk about is non-renewable, and it'll be the last one we talk about, so we'll put it over here to this side, okay? Non-renewable. This isn't pretty, but at least it'll be something for us to look at. What's another one of them, Caitlin?
Renewable.
Renewable, right. That's one of the ones that, this is not the answer to that question, guys. The question is asking, what is a renewable resource? Right now, we're just figuring out what the three types of resources are. We're not to the question yet, okay? Renewable is another one, and that's the first type we're going to talk about in our study of them. And what's the one other type of natural resource?
I think is it man-made?
Nope. If it's obtained from the earth, it's not man-made. Okay? That's the difference of a natural. That's why we call them natural resources. They're not man-made, but I'm glad you said that because it gave us a chance to.
I know it starts with an S.
No, doesn't start with an S. Caitlin?
I know it starts with an I.
It starts with an I. Starts with a prefix. N. Ireland? Anybody call it out if you know it?
Intangible?
Ha! I got it. Hold on.
Wait.
It's a big...
Inexhaustible.
Inexhaustible. Good job, Colin. Inexhaustible. It's a very big word. It means it can never run out. Let me ask you this. Guys, don't be silly. We got to focus. Let me ask you this. Are you inexhaustible?
No.
Yeah. You get how many times have you ever heard? Okay, maybe not you so much, but have you ever heard your mother say, "I'm exhausted"?
Yeah.
Trust me, I am exhaustible. I get exhausted all the time. But that's not what this means as much. This mostly means inexhaustible. When it means inexhaustible, it means it doesn't run out. Okay? It doesn't run out. We can't run out of it. There's an endless supply, but we're not to inexhaustible yet. The first question, Sarah Grace, was about renewable resources. So what is a renewable resource? What does that mean? If inexhaustible means they never run out, what does renewable mean? Ella?
It could be like recycled.
That's a good guess. But really, non-renewable resources can be recycled too. So renewable doesn't necessarily mean it's recyclable. Meg?
It means that it's something once and then you can make it into something again.
No, that's like recyclable. Caitlin?
Is this the same thing as recyclable? You use it again? No, that's the same thing.
That's the same thing. That's like reduce, reuse, recycle. This is different. Claire?
It's like an apple, maybe. if you get like a seed out of it, you can grow another tree.
Ding, 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 ding. Good job, Claire. She's on the right track. A renewable resource. This marker's not very good. A renewable resource is a resource that can be naturally renewed or replenished. Okay? It can be a resource that can be naturally replenished. Okay? So that's your answer for number 2. But I'm going to put naturally replenished, which also means replenished through nature. Let me explain how this works.
What's the answer to number 2?
Got to pay attention to the first one. Stay with me. A resource that can be renewed or replenished through nature. Okay? Or naturally replenished, you can put. Okay? A resource that can be renewed. Let me show you how that works. Okay? So, you have now yes, if you took an apple seed out of an apple and planted it, it might grow an apple tree. It actually does really work, because Paige did it when she was like 4, and all of a sudden this tree started growing, and we didn't know where it came from. She's like, oh, it's an apple tree. It really was. So you really can't eat an apple and plant a seed, and you might get lucky, and it might grow a tree. But this is more that it naturally happens. So let's say, for instance, acorns. You have a big oak tree, and the acorns fall down, right? Even if you weren't there, if there were no people there, the acorns would fall down, and what would eventually happen? Caitlin?
They would turn into another oak tree?
They are the seeds, so eventually they might get under the ground, kind of work their way down, and then they would grow new oak trees, right? Yeah. So they're naturally replenished. Even if no humans came and helped, they would naturally grow more trees. So what is one renewable resource? One that we can get more of it, that's naturally replenished and more can grow.
An apple.
Well, not an apple, but
An apple tree.
trees. Got it. Okay, very good. So one of our first ones under renewable resources is trees. Trees are a renewable resource. Can anybody think of any other renewable resources? Magic.
Water, like the water cycle in a way.
Yes, not just water though. Fresh water. Fresh water is renewable through the water cycle. Water itself, there's like kind of an endless supply, and we'll talk more about that later. But fresh water is renewable. Anybody else think of one of the renewable resources? We don't have to know them all right now. We're just coming up with some ideas. Llewellyn?
Flowers. Isn't it when flower petals drop, they can grow new flowers?
They can. They have seeds in them. But really what's more useful to humans than flowers is crops, plants. And so crops are one of the renewable resources, because that's how we get food, right? We can grow more corn, and you use the corn off the stalks, and we eat it, and they grow more corn, right? And so that's a renewable resource. What you're going to do when we're looking at the water cycle, we'll kind of go through this together in the interest of time. But the textbook has changed a little bit since last time. So once you get logged in, your student center is going to come up. You're going to go to Science Textbook. And you want to make sure it says Virginia Grade 3. If you look, there's all these different choices. Make sure you're under Virginia Grade 3, right up here. And if we scroll down and we get under, if you see they have the renewable resources, the non-renewable resources, and then the inexhaustible resources. What you need? Quickly. Renewable resources, non-renewable resources, this is where we're going to be. Now, the inexhaustible doesn't fall under this, and we'll talk about that. I'll help y'all with that. Don't worry about that when you can't find inexhaustible. It really falls under these. They don't call it inexhaustible in here. So, what you're going to do is you go to renewable resources and the water cycle, because fresh water is what's renewable through the water cycle. So we're going to review the water cycle first. I know y'all did that in 2nd grade. We're going to start there, okay? It says the total amount of water on Earth never changes. It is recycled over and over again. And we're going to explore how the water cycle has evaporation, precipitation, and condensation, and how they occur. So, let me ask you this. Do you think that when this bottle of water that's there on the desk, I guess that's Adriana's, that water in there was some of the same water that could have been drank by dinosaurs? The exact same water could have gone through a dinosaur. Do y'all, who thinks that that's possible? Let's start with who thinks it's possible. Look at a few. Who thinks that's not possible? It's different water.
Because you don't make more water.
You're absolutely right. The water that is here on this earth that we use is the same water that's been here all along.
Made by man.
There's no alien sending gallons of water to Earth. It's not coming from anywhere else. We can treat water and we can make it usable, but we don't create new water. We have the same water that's been here all along. None of it goes anywhere. Okay?
What about,
Okay?
I was about to say, whatever.
Okay, the water cycle, but it just renews it. None is really lost through that or brought back. So the same water's here is the same water millions of other people have drank for. You could be drinking water that Jesus drank. You don't know because it's been through the water cycle. Yes.
So if we went swimming at the beach, we'd technically be swimming in water like 1,000,000 years old.
Yeah. Yep. More than 1 million. Millions and millions of years old.
Like,
yes, Megan.
how can we not exactly how come we have the same water as we did millions and millions of years ago? Because when we drink it, it kind of goes up.
But where does it go? Does it disappear in your body, never to be seen again?
No, but how it comes from that one stage from it's
Sewer.
a pea, but how does
It goes through the sewer system, right?
yeah?
With the other water that's with it, isn't it? Okay. Y'all really had to go this far, didn't you?
Sorry,
Okay,
I'm just
well,
wondering.
It goes through there, but then it goes to a wastewater treatment plant where they treat all that water all over again. They clean it and they treat it, and so essentially it does, come back around.
Okay, just
Okay?
I'm sorry
Well,
I said that.
It's okay. It's a good question. It's a good question. The point is, all the water that's in the world now has always been here. We aren't getting any new. There's not some, giant Walmart in the sky where they're sending us water from. What's here is here. Okay?
If what Megan says is true, I will never go swimming again.
Okay, moving along.
It is.
So what we're going to do, these are different things. The books here, here's an ebook that talks about how it moves. The water's constantly in motion. And there's also this one here about Mrs. Frizzle where they talk about the water cycle.
I remember that video.
You remember that video?